Oh, I need a haircut. Hey, Derek Greeley. Wave. Hey, guys, I got on here just a couple minutes early from my car. Hey, Lexi Walker, Jen Mayer of the Whole Fit Clan, Elizabeth Roberts. Hey, guys. Just wanted to get on here a few minutes early and give people time to hop on before Ferguson requests to join at 7 o'clock. Why am I coming to you from my car? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because my kids wouldn't leave me alone. And it's too loud in my house. So I'm coming to you from my driveway, where it's somewhat peaceful and hopefully will be a little quieter than doing it inside. Hey, Kenneth. So we'll see. We got a Brown in the house. Hey, Emma. I'm going to wait for some more people to hop on. Guys, I'm so excited for the game that we're going to play with Ryan when he gets on. I came up with some great questions that hopefully will get hilarious answers. Shoot some texts to other Alivers. Let them know that we are on here and not also Facebook. That might be helpful. Who else is like rocking really crazy hair because they can't go get a haircut anywhere? That's me right now. Can't go to my barbershop. So we actually gave Judah a haircut this morning because his hair was getting crazy. It was crazy. And I think we did an okay job. I mean, you can tell it was a homemade haircut. But that's okay. Desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. What have you guys been up to? Comment below. Let me know that you're here. All right, how about we ask this question before we get started and before Ferguson gets here. What's your number one comfort food as you are quarantining? Which really we're not technically quarantining because I leave my house. I mean, I have, if I'm being honest. I don't know if that upsets people, but I have not stayed in my house 24/7 because I would lose my mind. Absolutely lose my mind. So what's your number one comfort food? Comment below. I can tell you what mine has been. The jalapeno Cheez-Its are so good. Amanda Walker, welcome. And Amanda, why haven't I been to y'all's pool yet? Like, I know we're supposed to quarantine and stay away, but if we have less than 10 people, we're good. I want an invite to the pool because I keep seeing you posting pictures of you and all your sisters at the pool, and I just have a sprinkler to run through. It's pretty depressing. I don't know. You should come. It's cold though. Oh, I bet. We've been taking the kids. We've been taking the kids to this creek out in Simpsonville to go play because it has a little beachfront, and that water has also been ridiculously crazy. Okay, comment below. What's your number one comfort food as you're just hunkering down at the house? I want to know. Shimon. All right, what time is it? 7 o'clock. All right, Ferguson should be on. There he is. Hi, Ryan. Okay, I'm going to wait for his request. There we go. Go. You there?
Hey, Timmy.
Yeah, I did.
What is up?
I'm in my car.
Okay. Why?
Well, the inside of our house was cray-cray.
Oh,
So I didn't want to like lose viewers because they were sick of hearing my kids singing and dancing in the living room.
quarantine commotion.
Yes. I was even trying to bribe them like, hey, go make a fire with your mom in the backyard. Like, get out of the house. Give me some space. And they were like, we want to be on. And I'm like, no.
Now, Tim, I may not be the best parent ever, but maybe telling your two boys at their age to go make a fire, maybe that's not your best bribe. Yeah, give them
Dude,
some time.
sorry, I should elaborate. We have a fire pit.
Oh,
And every day they go to this lot behind our house where the owners haven't built yet, but there's tons of wood that they can like chop down or, put in our wheelbarrow. And it's Judah's job every day to get energy out and to go and chop down wood and bring it back for us to burn.
Nice. Good for
He's
Judah.
Yeah, he's actually a boss at starting fires, believe it or not.
Dawson, that's hilarious.
I mean, he's not too far off. There does have to be an adult there, for sure. For sure. Okay. Hey, Fergie, what you been up to today, man? Another Sunday, my friend, with no church. What in the world?
It's very weird. It, it's my rhythms of what day it is, what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a very rhythm schedule person, and it's messed me up. But I spent some great time with kind of my people, my friends. We actually social distanced on motorcycles.
Nice.
So got to go out. We have headsets so we could talk while we're on there, and took food with us and rode for a little bit. Came home, had church with my family, cooked some food.
Where did you guys? Where'd you? I'm trying to pin a comment at the top. Oh, there we go. Okay. Where'd you guys drive to?
Oh, we went all over. Went up past the Blue Ridge Parkway, up near a place called Little Switzerland.
What?
Yeah, which is just Little Switzerland is like 7 buildings. It's a small post office and a restaurant that, of course, now isn't open, but it's pretty cool. Yes, schedule is blowed up, Joe. Yeah.
I FaceTimed with LaPena today.
Did you really? He's good people.
He's one of the best. Okay, so Ryan, here's what I want to do. We've got like 4 or 5 different kind of segments that we just want to have fun with. And Dawson, because we already know the answer to that. I don't want to embarrass you. He's not going to ask that question or answer that question. But what I want to do is just start with a game that me and a few other Alivers put together. Some fun questions for you. And we're calling this game Quick Draw. Okay?
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I have 20 questions that I'm just going to zing at you. And you can't give yourself that much time to think. You just have to go like what your gut tells you or the first thing that pops in your mind. And I think that'd be a really fun way for us to get to know you as we dive into this fun time together.
All right. I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Let me hold up my laptop so I can see all of these. Shout out to Nathan Wilson. He helped put some of these questions together. I put out something on our Facebook page saying, hey, what would you rather question do you want to hear Ferguson answer? And this is what came up.
Hey, if we get delayed or whatever, I've got like 700 people over here on Wi-Fi. I've got a Zoom family meeting going on. I've got 3 alive people here. So if we get messed up or whatever, I'll just join back. But I just thought I would give a heads up to everybody.
Yeah, why don't you go lay the smack down and tell them just to get off the Wi-Fi?
Well, hopefully they're here because they're all alive people.
Oh, that's a great point. Good. Okay.
Hey, Kelsey Vince. What up?
Kelsey,
okay, sorry. Here we go.
I miss Kelsey so much.
She is awesome.
She's the best. Hi, Miss Shear. Okay, here we go. Ferguson, are you ready for Quick Draw?
I'm ready.
All right, Batman or Superman?
Oh, Batman.
Moe's or Chipotle?
Chipotle.
Tim Keller or John Piper?
Keller.
Sense of smell like a dog or the eyesight of an eagle?
Eyesight of an eagle.
That's good. Okay, watch an uninterrupted WNBA doubleheader or listen to an entire Nickelback album without stopping?
Wow. Well, I don't want to down on WNBA, but I can listen to some Nickelback. I'm not afraid to say that.
I like Nickelback.
I'm that old.
Yeah, okay. Be a vampire or be a werewolf?
Oh, that's toughy. A vampire, more powers.
Okay, vampire. Discover the Loch Ness Monster or discover Sasquatch?
Oh, Loch Ness.
Yeah. Not know how to read or not know how to write?
Right.
Okay, live to be 200 years old in colonial times or live a modern lifespan in normal day?
I'd have to go now. Normal day, normal life.
Yep. Sleep in a room that's a little too hot or sleep in a room that's a little too cold?
That's easy. There's nothing that's too cold. I'm good with that. Too cold, always.
I'm the opposite. I couldn't do it. Okay. Be credited with the invention of the wheel or the internet?
Internet.
That's good. If you could rewrite history, would there be no such thing as music or no such thing as art?
I can't answer that question. Neither one. I reject that question all out.
Only because you're my pastor and my elder will I be okay with that.
Yeah, that's impossible. Would you rather? That's destroying the world. To take away either. I can't do it.
Okay. This one's my favorite. Go to jail for life or get the death penalty?
Ooh, man. That's a great, well, not great. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's
Either
awkward.
way, it's a terrible,
Oh, life. I could lift weights in there.
That's right, bro. You can make friends.
I could be 80 and jacked up. Sorry, that's terrible.
It's true. Okay, this one's simple. Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink soda. But I'd have to go Pepsi because I used to drink Mountain Dew like a fiend. So Pepsi Coke.
Code Red Mountain Dew will be in heaven.
Oh, I used to drink almost 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not healthy. That's not wise. That's not good. But yeah.
We don't recommend it, but we could.
No, that's not going to end well.
No, not at all. All right, just a few more in our game of quick draw. What's your go-to? Toilet paper a house or egg it?
Oh, a TP. Egg is just a mess to clean up. That's too far.
You don't have to clean it up. The other people do. It's if you're pranking someone. Yeah, that's kind of mean. Okay, I like this one. Live in isolation or face your biggest fear once a month?
Biggest fear.
Whoa. What is your biggest fear?
I have weird ones that won't make sense. Being late, making people wait is one of my biggest fears. That just, I hate that. It's not a pet peeve. I just hate that. My kids getting hurt is probably one of my biggest fears right now in life, in general. But,
okay. So you'd rather face that once a month than live in isolation?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I can respect that. All right. Be eaten by a lion or eaten alive by ants?
Oh, lion. Make it quick. I'm allergic to ants, and that's going to end really bad.
Bro, you are allergic to ants.
Yeah. And bees.
We won't talk about, no, we won't.
No, we won't.
But I totally forgot.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
I love you, and I don't want to get in trouble. All right. This one I thought was very creative. Would you rather have $150 in quarters or $100 in paper form?
I'm going to go quarters. I'm cheap. Like, I'd rather have all of it. I can carry around quarters and pay. That won't bug me.
I agree. Okay, just a few more in our quick draw with Ryan Ferguson. Have the ability to rewind to a previous time in your life or have the ability to fast forward to future times in your life?
Oh, boy, I have follow-up questions to both of those. Am I allowed to mess with the timeline in either end?
I don't know if you can mess with it quite like Back to the Future, but you can interact with it, right?
Rewind. Yeah.
Yep. All right, last one with quick draw. This one is my second favorite. Know everything and die tomorrow or live forever and be ignorant?
Know everything and die tomorrow? I'd have to probably, All right, assuming that I don't have any responsibilities to anybody in my life and that this hypothetical question is just me,
right.
The moment of knowing everything, that's kind of weird. I'm sure somebody is going to nail that I'm not God. But what I could
People are not allowed to Jesus juke us with would you rathers.
Yes. I'd know everything. Yeah.
And then die happy. Go be with the Lord.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Way to go, Ryan Ferguson. That was awesome. There's lots of comments below. So while you're answering the next couple questions, I'm going to be scrolling through those questions or
Okay.
comments so we can see. Okay, so our next segment with Ryan Ferguson is going to be my favorite because I got on the phone with Peter Hubbard this morning, and we came up with 5 North Hills trivia questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now these, you can take your time. You can elaborate. You can even tell a story if something comes to your mind. We don't have to go fast like we did with Quick Draw.
Okay.
The first one. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you get any of these wrong out of the 5, then you have to give us 5 burpees at the end of this per wrong question.
Oh, the burpees.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do a little self-quarantine workout.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What year was North Hills founded, and by which families?
All those families?
There was only 6. Let's just start with year.
Year 1990. All right, hold on.
He's doing math. He's like, when was our anniversary? If
1994.
you guys know, don't comment below because he'll cheat.
Is it 94? Is it 3 or 2? What is it?
It's 1991.
Oh. So is that like 2.5 burpees right there? Because it's part A of the question.
All right. If you can get at least 3 families. If you can get it, oh, nice job, Joe LaPena, with the 91. If you can get at least 3 families that were out of the 6, then I'll let you out of your 5 burpees.
Yeah. All right. Nestberg, Auger.
Yep.
Cherry.
Okay.
Laura.
Okay. Don't forget my favorite one, who loved my children so well. He just went to be with the Lord recently. Christmas time was his favorite.
Oh, Dorn.
Yep.
Dorn.
Dave Dorn. There's one more.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I actually, when Hubbard was putting it together, he knew it was 6, but we could only remember 5.
Helpful.
Yeah. All right, well done. You got out of those burpees. Good job. For everyone listening, North Hills was founded in 1991. Oh,
Moser. Arnie. Nice, LaPena.
He's a boss. It was because he put together that North Hills DVD back in the day. Okay. This one's a fun one. I did not know this until he told me. So you don't have to do 5 burpees. You need to answer this correctly. What is Peter Hubbard's middle name? I'll give you a hint. The first 2 letters are the same.
Aaron.
I'll let you try again. That's a great guess. Think Dumb and Dumber.
Lloyd.
His
Lloyd
name,
Christmas.
Peter Lloyd Hubbard.
I did not know that.
I didn't either, and I laughed when he told me, and I felt bad. I'm going to start calling him Lloyd.
Hey, Lloyd. Good luck with the ant farm.
Yeah. All right, now I called Darren Rickard to get this North Hills trivia question. Ryan Ferguson, how many parking spots are in the parking lot at North Hills?
Come on. That's ridiculous.
All right, if you guess in the right 100, then it counts.
I'm going to go 300. 400. 17 million.
There is 516 parking spots.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
this includes all the parking spots up by the upper field and, all that.
All right. Is that burpees? Is that 5?
You're up to 10 burpees.
Oh, that's right, because I didn't know Lloyd.
All right, 2 more trivia questions.
Up.
You'll get this one. I will be shocked if you don't. Who is the oldest staff member currently on staff? And who is our youngest staff member who is currently on staff?
But age?
Yes.
One
is full-time and one is part-time.
Oldest staff member right now. Jim?
Jim who?
Is Jim Phillips? Is he the oldest?
Yep. Jim Phillips is the oldest. Now, if you want to get 5 burpees deducted, guess his correct age.
68.
Oh, dang it. Yes, you got it. All right, you just went from 10 burpees down to 5. Well done.
Okay.
Now, who's our youngest staff member?
Is that Beth Ann?
No. I'm going to give you another hint. They're in the same cubicle section.
It's Connor.
Connor Hubbard.
Oh, he's an intern. Yeah, but he just got hired. No, he just got hired.
Yeah, he just got hired.
Part-time. All right.
We'll make it 7 burpees.
All right, 7. I'm in.
7. Okay, now last one. I will be disappointed in you if you don't know this.
Come on. It's pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Which current NHC staff member used to do competitive tap dancing?
I used to do competitive clogging. Would be Ross Robinson.
Oh, Peter and I said tap dancing, but you're right. It's clogging. Maybe I should have to do burpees now.
7. You just got all of mine.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. I have been eating way too much during this quarantining. That's for sure. Well done. Well done. Way to go. That's a little bit of North Hills trivia. Now we're going to ask you about 4 or 5 fun questions before we get to everyone's questions below. So before I start this, if you have not submitted a question below to all 35 of you watching, drop your question below to Ferguson and he will get that. We'll get that going. Okay. First fun question for you, Ryan, is if you were to be stuck on an island with one North Hills staff member, who would it be and why?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I'm going to have to go probably with Matt Nesberg because we've been friends for 18 years and we would have a blast.
He would eat all the food, though.
Well, yeah, but he's real survival-y and hunty, and I could sit on the beach and survive while he went and found animals to make into food.
I don't know. You two would be a gnarly couple, like of strength and just big dudes walking around. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that Matt knows that you said that because that's precious. Okay. This one's not fun. I think this one is just more intriguing. What's one thing about Peter Hubbard that you would like to share that no one gets to see quite like you do as the teaching pastors in our church? It can be funny, unusual, interesting, or insightful about him.
One thing about Peter Hubbard that I get to see.
Yeah, that the average person will never get to because of your relationship and role with him.
Man, that's a good question. Can I think about that and you ask me the next one?
Yep. Yeah. I probably should have sent these to you in advance.
No, I don't care. We'll figure it out.
Okay. What's been the funniest thing to ever happen to you while being on staff at North Hills?
Oh, my word.
When you're done, I'm just going to share a 1-minute story of the funniest thing I've done to you.
There's a, oh man. Well, okay. I'll share one of the funniest. It actually has to do with Alive. This is an old moment in Alive. We just had a blast shooting a video together and I've always remembered it. It was the football one. Um,
Oh
when
yeah.
when we put me at that point, I was probably about 50 pounds heavier than I am now, and we put me in a medium or small size jersey, so it kind of like cut to right here. And I was out in the hallway, and we did this bit where who was it that came? Was it Mary that hit me? Yeah.
Mary Kenzie.
Mary came running down the hall and hit me and tackled me, and I fell on the floor, and I complained like a little kid because she hit me. And it was hilarious. We laughed the whole time we were shooting it, and then
Yeah.
everybody that was walking through the office seeing me in a jersey like 4 times too small got a pretty good kick out of it. So
I had to help you get out of that thing.
yes, yeah.
For
I,
everyone listening and everyone watching, if you go to our Facebook page later, or even I'll try and put it on our Instagram, I'm going to find that because I have it on my YouTube channel and I'm going to post it as like a throwback for the world to see.
Well, this one was funny in hindsight. This is an old school story, but this is the other funniest thing that happens. This was before I was on staff, actually, but still hilarious. Was when to bring up Matt Nesberg again, when he let the baptistry overflow in our previous building. He left the water on all afternoon, and it went all the way up and overflowed into the auditorium. So in the afternoon, me and Peter and Ross and Matt are all there with squeegee brooms, squeegeeing water out of the auditorium before everybody got there that night. That was not in the moment. You know, those things happen where in the moment you're like, this is not, nobody really wants to laugh yet. But afterwards, it's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, the overflowed baptismal pool.
Wow. Wow. I'm getting lots of comments below of people very happy to see you in that football jersey.
I'll take. So let me jump back to Peter's the question about Peter.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Okay. Of course. Yes.
I think the thing I can share most about Peter is how passionate he is about everything. Um, that happens at North Hills and how passionate he is in life. Like he's passionate about his kids playing soccer. He's passionate about college ministry. He's passionate about worship. He's passionate about Alive, kind of everything. Like he has a vested interest in everything that happens. And I think sometimes people could view him through the lens of he comes in on Sundays, does his thing, preaches, is an elder, but whenever you work with him every day and you see him care about every aspect of the church, that's pretty cool.
Man, I couldn't agree more. I think what's incredible about him is he's a dynamite preacher by the grace of God. Like God uses him in such huge ways. But when you look at how he spends his time, he is incredibly involved in so much more than just writing sermons for Sunday. And that guy's a boss. You two cannot be a better team. I will say, you want to talk about a good 1-2 punch? We'll have some knockouts there. By the way, I will say the funniest thing I have seen happen to you in the time that we've been on staff together. Do you remember when me and Ryan Hodges stole your moped and put it up on the stage at North Hills and you couldn't find it?
Wait, that was you? Well, that happened to me more than once.
No, it wasn't me. It was Ryan Hodges.
No, that happened to me twice.
Oh, it was me and Jonathan Stevens.
Yeah.
Not Ryan Hodges.
Okay. Yeah. I've had it stolen to the church more than once and put somewhere else. Once was up on stage. Yeah. And I had to carry it down by myself because I was there in an elder meeting till like almost midnight.
How mad were you?
I was less than happy. Let's put it that way. Less than happy.
Oh, I would pay money just to be a fly on the wall hearing you mutter under your breath as you're having to pop your wheels down each step.
I was just praying prayers of blessing over you. That's all I was doing. That's it.
Okay. All right. Last kind of fun question before we field all the questions below. And I'm looking. We have a ton.
Cool.
If you were to lose to a wrestling match with any North Hill staff member of our church or a church member, who do you think you would lose a wrestling match to? And it can't be Matt Nesberg.
Who would I lose a wrestling match to?
I'm not talking fist fight. I'm talking like legit wrestling.
Yeah, Ryan Bartel.
Dude, that guy's a boss.
Yeah,
He's so strong.
yeah. He don't play. He was doing the walking pull up thing the other day on his Instagram, where you walk up with your, as you're pulling up, you pretend like you're walking up in midair. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I throw Bartel out there.
Dude, he's such a faithful life group leaders to middle schoolers.
Yeah.
He's a
Oh,
boss.
he's on here. We give him a shout out.
Is he on here?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
He's like anti-social media. It wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't on here. He's probably out lifting weights. Okay. So I just wrote down a couple questions that I saw. I have 3. While you're answering this, if I look distracted, it's because I'm gonna go find other questions.
Yeah.
First question that someone commented below to you, Fergie, was, what's the most supernatural thing to ever happen to you?
Okay.
Go ahead and think about that and answer it, and I'm going to find more.
Okay. I've got that one
Bradley
already.
Hart.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a story. This might take me a second.
No, bless us with it.
Okay, so I have to tell you, to start off, this isn't like a spiritual supernatural story. So just take it for what it is. This is a true story. So when I moved down here, I met a guy. His name is Kip. He now lives in LA. We've been friends since 7th grade. We're still in contact. We went to high school together, college together. After I got married, we worked together at the same place delivering furniture. So one night, I'm married at this point. One night in the middle of the night, I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear someone screaming my name, Ryan. And I sit up in full fight or flight syndrome. You know what I mean? Like heart beating. I sat up so fast that Rebecca woke up and asked me what was wrong. And I said, I heard someone screaming my name. And she was like, you're fine. We're fine. Nothing happened. So I go back to bed. I get up the next morning to go to work. I go into work. I'm going to deliver furniture with Kip. We get into the van. He's driving. And he goes, man, I had the weirdest dream last night. I was in trouble. Someone was trying to kill me. And so I screamed your name for help. And I looked at him and I was like, ha, ha, ha. Rebecca called you. Great little fun joke. And he looks at me like, what are you talking about? Why would Rebecca call me? And I said, because last night, about 3 a.m, I woke up. And he still was looking at me like, I don't understand. I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night at 3 because someone was screaming my name. And he turns white. And he's just sitting there driving the van like this, looking over at me like this. And he goes, I woke up from my dream at 3 and I was screaming your name because someone was trying to kill me.
What?
I know that it is. I'm not making that up. I've told that story all over the place. My friend out in LA would corroborate it. It is one of it's the most supernatural thing that's happened to me. Best friends by that point for, maybe 9-10 years. Yeah.
So a follow-up question to that, I'm just, me, I'm a verbal processor. Like, do you think supernatural things can happen to us that aren't necessarily teaching us anything or providentially like showing us anything?
And I think it all depends. I think we just have to be careful there when we define what we mean by supernatural. I'm using the term supernatural there, meaning that's not normal. If that's the best coincidence that has ever happened in the entire known universe, great. If that's one of those things where, we are wild creatures made in the image of God and things happen that way, great. That's what I mean by supernatural.
Love it. That's really cool. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
One question I saw, people want to know, how old were you when you started following Jesus?
Yeah.
And what is that, what's that whole story? Like, how did you hear the gospel, repent?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kind of simple beginning, concise part of that was I was 8 years old in a very, very rural, small church in Pennsylvania. My dad started taking my sister and I to church, and we went to what was called a vacation Bible school,
Oh
which
yeah.
is kind of like a week in the summer. And I heard the gospel through puppets. And I just remember understanding who I was and who Jesus was. Now, and I embraced that to the degree that an 8 year old could. And I truly believe that God opened my eyes. And then if you look at my story from, kind of then on, it's kind of shaped like this, where it's up and there's some valleys in there that make you ask some really big questions about my faith and my pursuit of Jesus. But I believe that's when God really opened my eyes to who he was and
Love that.
started the course of my life following Jesus.
I love that. Now, that is when Jesus really captured your heart.
Yeah.
But when did you know, okay, I think full-time ministry is for me. Like I want to stop what I'm doing in this what some people would call like a secular
Yeah.
job, and then
Yeah.
I want to work for the church.
So that took a lot of time. Like that was probably in my, let's see, I've been at North Hills 12 years. I'm 47. I started there when I was 35. I was at 28. So my mid 20s, 25 to 28. And it wasn't kind of like I didn't have some big calling. God told me I'm supposed to work at the church. My life went from like the scope of my life as I was discipled at North Hills beginning when I was about 21. The scope of my life was Ryan loving Ryan, Ryan loving what Ryan loved.
Hmm.
That was kind of who I was. Ryan caring about anybody else and their issues was here. And God over time did this.
Hmm.
Like all of a sudden, I started actually caring about people and wanting to invest in people. People had discipled me in prayer and reading God's word, and this understanding that the Christian life is not always as complicated as we make it.
Hmm.
That a lot of times it is prayer, God's word, and God's people mixed with all the mess of life, and that is the Christian life. Um, and as I started to see that I could help people even in my elementary way, that's when my heart started moving towards serving people. So, and then the elders recognized that too and actually asked me to come on staff. So I never really pursued it as a path.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't go to seminary. That's not my background. My degree's in theater. My background's in theater and acting and
Which I will
directing.
say, which I will say, I think that, and now this might be, too generous. I think that has served you better than anything seminary could have done for you.
Yeah, seminary has its. I miss the strengths that seminary brings, like that breadth of knowledge, width of knowledge, um, ongoing study. But there are things that you know, there are things that seminary doesn't answer. Like my second week, I was on staff. I was standing outside of a house that was burning, that had burned down, with a wife at 35 years old. Seminary doesn't tell you what to say at that moment
Hmm.
when everything you have is gone and you have no help. You're a single mom and your house burned down, and insurance isn't like, there's no class for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So I miss some of the strengths, and I think that's just important for people to hear. There are strengths in seminary that I miss, but there are things that I have from my background that are helpful, observing people and
Yeah. Well,
um,
and I would also say, I think there's something with people with that background you have with theater and in that arts world that y'all have incredible memories. Like, and this might just be something like a gift God gave you and it had nothing to do with your background in theater. But for those listening, and I don't know if a lot of people know this about you, but you have memorized whole books of the Bible.
Yeah.
And that might be something that's normal for you, like for you to go, yeah. For me to comprehend that as a gift that you're able to do, it blows my mind. And
Yeah.
you know me, I have the worst memory in the world, so I have mad respect for people with crazy memories.
Can I speak into that a little
Yes.
bit on the memorization thing? And I'm going to use you as an example because we're very good friends and I can push back a little bit.
Yeah.
You actually have an amazing memory. You just don't, you're comparing your memory to mine. I could ask you any number of questions about the Atlanta Braves and you would answer them
Right.
without thinking.
Right.
So memory is what you discipline your mind to remember.
That's a
And
good.
yes, there are tools that you have to learn, but memorization, and I would even say, like, if you want another opinion on this, Corrine Dyer is another one who Corrine memorized the Book of Ruth, has been in theater. We might have some gifting in it, but we've also developed the discipline and the process of I'll take 8 months to memorize that book. Like it doesn't come easy. When I memorized Hebrews, it took me 8 months at the end, working 8 to 10 hours a week on it. So it there can be gifting, but like anything, Aaron Keyes, the great songwriter, singer songwriter, writes songs that we sing, has said that about songwriting. Like he's not a gifted songwriter. He's just worked on it for the past 30 years. And now
No,
he knows some things.
I love that because while you were talking, I felt like kind of the Holy Spirit put on my heart, like, you really don't have an excuse. Like, you can't just say, oh, that's not how I was born or that's not my gifting. Like, what you're saying is with discipline and hard work, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next question. This one was actually submitted on Facebook to you.
Cool.
They want to know what you think is the next. They worded it in a weird way, but I know what they're asking. They want to know what you think the next big persecution for the church is going to be.
Huh. Well, I want to be careful here. I'm not speaking prophetically in this moment. I'm giving my opinion.
Right.
So I think it's going to continue in the trend that we're already experiencing, that the Christianity in very general terms that was in some ways culturally accepted in this country that we love to live in, that normality and acceptance is kind of being taken step down a little bit by little bit, where it's being challenged. And I think we're still insulated here in kind of conservative Protestant religious South.
Right.
So you move to New England or Pacific Northwest, and there's no normality at all to being a Christian there. Not at all. So I don't think it's going to be, I don't think we're going to step immediately into a persecution that's like this bit that we should like be freaking out and afraid of. I think we're just going to have to step into the realm of, are we actually going to be courageous Christians in culture? But like that's the bigger question. Are we going to be not Christians in culture, because that normality of, yes, I'm a Christian, I think that's going to go away a little bit. But are we going to be courageous going, I'm a follower of Jesus. Yes, Jesus is the Lord of my life, and I kind of live the way he wants me to live, and I make choices about what I do, what I eat, what I drink, how I do those things, where I go, kind of based on what he says in his word. And yeah, that sounds crazy and weird, but that's who I am.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the persecution, in my opinion.
I love that. I didn't want to give specifically what this question was going towards because I wanted to hear what organically came to your mind first. This one also wants you to speak into personally towards pastors now. So you spoke as like the follower of Jesus. Now this person's really also kind of getting to, what do you think it's going to be towards Ryan as a pastor? Maybe the government's telling you to do something and you're like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to reframe that in this way. I actually don't think, again, my opinion for what it's worth, I don't think the government is the threat. I think it is the realm of culture that's going to inform whether or not I'm going to continue to say in a sermon that Jesus is exclusively the way.
Yep. Okay.
Like, am I going to say that in the midst of a culture that will then look at you and say that's bigoted, that's narrow-minded, you immediately hate other religions because you say that, which I don't think is a valid argument, but I think that's what's going to come at pastors. Are we going to get up and say those things, not in a jerk way? Like, God never wants a pastor to be a jerk, but to get up and just say, I read the Bible and I really believe Jesus is the way, and his way that he calls me to live like him, like he lived in his kingdom. That means certain things, and I'm just gonna kind of keep living that way. I think that's what's gonna come at church leadership in general.
Love it. Good. Okay, one question that was in the thread that I thought was so good, and I'm excited to hear you answer this. It says, oh, where'd it go? If you could go back to high school and redo one thing, what would it be?
If I could go back to high school and redo one thing, I think, man, that's a really good question. I don't know that I've ever actually thought of that. I would like to go back and not live so afraid. And what I mean by that is, like, if I could go back and live life at that age like I do now, where what I do, the choices I make, what I wear, how I express myself isn't a fear of what anybody else will think. Not in a, because I want to do whatever I want, but just that always worried about what people thought of me. That fear is exhausting.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
At least it was for me in high school. And worried about people's opinions, like if I do this or I say this or I want to, back in those days, and I don't know what, my kids aren't necessarily a couple of them are into theater a little bit, but in those days, like, theater kids weren't the cool crowd, so when you're in high school and you say, yeah, I love to read Shakespeare, you're not all of a sudden going to shoot to the top of the popularity,
Yeah.
And so, like, but those moments of really fearing, oh no, to go back and tell Ryan at 14, listen, you're going to find out when you turn 21, 22, that almost none of these opinions matter at all. So just kind of live free. Stop being afraid.
Love it. Hey, dude, while you were answering that question, so many of your homies have hopped on. Wes Jones is in the house. Marco Suarez is in the house.
Marco! Dude, Marco is the man. Methodical Coffee, people. If you love coffee, hit up Methodical. It's the jam.
I don't even drink coffee, but when I'm in there, I just love being there because it's a cool vibe.
Marco designed it, the whole thing in there.
Doesn't surprise me. He's a winner. Hey, yeah. Ken's Madsen asked the question, Ryan, what are your favorite books and top recommendations?
Favorite books. So I always say this when I recommend books. So I'm going to do two sets. I'm going to do kind of the fun books I like to read, and then maybe more like churchy books. There was a guy, this author has actually died. His name is Robert Jordan. He wrote a series called The Wheel of Time. It's kind of in the fantasy genre. It's 13 books. Each of them are about this thick.
Wow.
I started reading them in the 90s. I've read through that whole series probably 10 times. Every time a new book came out, I read the entire series all over again. So Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. Those are my go-to fun books. Books that have impacted me. I have to admit, I'm not a huge reader of big books. I like Ryan-sized books. I like to give people a book I think they will read. So a book that has hugely impacted my heart, especially in the realm of believing that God hears and answers prayer, is a book called God Has a Name by John Mark Comer. Unbelievable book.
Comer?
Yeah, John Mark Comer with a C, Comer.
Okay.
I would say another author that is kind of impacted me recently is a guy named Mark Sayers. I'm reading his book, The Reappearing Church. I read his book on the Holy Spirit. A book on work. Another one by John Mark Comer, actually, Garden City, is really powerful.
Is it just on like getting up and working hard?
No, it's on a view of work that's way bigger as part of the kingdom, no matter what you do. Like he has this one part in the book of if you work for Verizon and you're connecting a mom in one state to a son in another state who's at college so that they can say, I love you. Do you see that as a kingdom calling?
Love that.
Like it's this, it just was like, blew my mind the way he's so passionate about connecting who you are in Christ to work, but not in like a cheesy Christian-y way, but in a think about it.
Well, it redefines the way you go about your business. No matter what it is you're doing, you understand, no matter what it is, it's kingdom work to the glory of God.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
John Ortberg's book, The Life You've Always Wanted, is another one.
Ortberg?
Yeah.
Didn't
John Ortberg.
He write one? Yeah, he wrote the one about like if you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat.
Yeah, that's one of his. The Life You've Always Wanted is kind of and it's a little bit of a dated book still. Some of the references in there, I wish he would update it, but the content in there is so good. Kind of spiritual disciplines, but in a really cool way. Celebration and Bible reading and prayer and all silence and solitude, but in a really readable way. I did a huddle with high schoolers several years ago. Kelsey Hicks was in that actually, and we read through that book together.
You're getting lots of thumbs up about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you one last question that's been submitted by the people hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And then when we're done with that, I've also seen some questions just peppered throughout this about the coronavirus.
Okay.
So when you're done answering this last one, I would love for you just to end our time together with another segment I'm calling Parting Words of Wisdom with Ryan. And I would love for you just to kind of speak into this bizarre season we're in.
Yeah.
Okay, the last question is, and you alluded a little bit to this at the beginning, but people want to know, what's the hardest thing you've ever gone through as a pastor?
Huh.
And you can, take time to think.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing I've gone through as a pastor? Okay. I'll share two things.
Okay.
And I'm just going to be honest. So there's 27, 28 people here. So whoever shares that with whoever and wherever this video gets seen. There are two things. The first is being a pastor, you are with your people in their worst of moments. So what I mean by that is I've been at hospital visits with people who didn't know if their child was going to make it. I've prayed with people who have cancer and know they're not going to make it. So there's that whole realm of life and things you can't control. And then you're with people in their worst, where a marriage is terrible and a husband is treating his wife poorly, or a wife is treating her husband poorly, and they're just shriveling up and dying in front of your eyes and can't get out of their patterns. So being at people with their worst is the hardest, in some ways, the hardest thing that happens. That's more generalized than one event, because those events just keep coming. They don't,
Yeah.
they don't stop. I think the other part is there's this passage in Timothy that says, and the Lord's servant must be kind to everyone, um, able to teach, patiently enduring evil, correcting his opponents with gentleness, knowing that the Lord might grant them repentance. It's interesting that part of a job description of a pastor is patiently enduring evil.
Mm.
That like you're going to have some rough things said about you by people in your church, by people outside of your church, and how you respond to that is really important. You're called to do it. So you look at the life of Jesus and you think of 1 Peter chapter 2, where Peter says, for to this you have been called, since Jesus left you an example that when he was reviled, he didn't revile in return. When he was threatened, he continued to suffer. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's how I live. So those are my two things. Maybe that's what that question might have been looking for, an event, but the events that are hard keep happening.
Yeah. I can say, I think I've only had one moment with you where I think I don't know if you remember this, but I was waiting in your office maybe 3-4 years ago, and there was a certain situation that happened with you, and I'll never forget, and I don't need to go into details, but I'll never forget how you cried. But it wasn't like a cry it was like a cry like my heart is broken for what is happening to these people, and my heart is broken for how this is going to be a ripple effect in our church family. And that's a moment in time I'll never forget, because I asked God in that moment, Lord, will you give me a heart of empathy like that? Like that's the kind of pastor and elder I want, that weeps with me, that hurts with me. And that's just to commend you and honor you, that as someone who watches you go about your business, I don't think people take into consideration the toll it can take on our elders. Because no one really calls you and says, hey, Fergie, just want to let you know, my marriage is going great. And thanks for everything you do. And then they hang up. Unless I'm sure it does, but for the most part, when your phone rings at 2 a.m, it's not that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've been on here for about an hour. I would love for you just to, I don't know, have a word from the Lord, or give some encouragement, or just give something insightful, or just maybe share your thoughts on a third week, Ryan, of the church not gathering. Kind of an unprecedented season. I'd love for you just to speak into that.
Okay. So I'm going to frame it with this really fascinating moment in the book of 1 Peter. Peter writes this, 1 Peter 2:17. You guys can look it up later. 1 Peter 2:17. 4 short commands. Honor everyone. Love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor. And so when I think of everything that's going on right now, I'm not a scientist, so I can't help with medical advice. I'm not a businessman. I can see there's going to be economic impact, but I can't predict it like a good friend of mine who could literally off the top of his head right now tell you what's going to happen, because he knows stuff like that. But I start looking around at what's going on in the world and go, listen, we need to honor everyone right here, and at the same time honor the emperor, the government. And remember, when Peter's writing this, it wasn't a democratic republic that we know of right now with all of our freedoms. Like, the church was persecuted by these emperors. And Peter's still saying, hey, we need to honor them. Honor them. So I think it's okay for us to step back and go, hey, The Christian community should be the first to be honored.
Burpees to do because Beth Ann is 1 week younger than Connor. Way to go.
So I'm down to 2.5 burpees.
That's all I do are half a burpees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss Crumpler, I heard you. I corrected myself, and I'm very, very sorry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. And then Joe LaPena made a comment. He was just honoring you about the time he'll never forget when you were witnessing to Jehovah Witnesses on a bike ride.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that was wild. Up in Spartanburg.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have our audience back on. I hate that you were cut off, but jump back into where you were.
No, that's right. Yeah. So again, it's just this idea of honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor. Like for me, the Christian community just needs to be in the lead on this whole thing. How we act, how we respond. So let me just tell a silly little story that I did the other day that I think illustrates this idea of just honoring everyone. I went to the grocery store, which right now is one of the craziest places in the world to go. I went in and decided I'm just going to be kind to everybody in here on purpose. I'm going to smile. I'm going to walk slow. I'm going to get eye contact with everybody and just say, hey, how you doing? Every last person in there looked at me like I was an alien. Because I was just like, hey, how are you? And this one guy, like, he looked at me and was like, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Good. I saw 3 ladies who were about to buy meat, and they were kind of socially distanced from each other, looking at the meat, trying to figure out what was left. And I said, man, I bet it's a lot of work right now coming in and trying to find food for your families. And all 3 of them in unison turned and looked at me. And I said, it's hard. And literally 2 of them looked at me and goes, you're so right. What's going on? It's so hard. And I just said, man, I'm so thankful you guys are out here, though, trying to care for your family. Wow. Their whole demeanor changed. Why? Because just honor people. God's looking at those people who are in the store buying food out of fear or whatever reason. And God's looking at them, just pleading with them, I've got this under control. And so I'm going to treat them that way. Love the brotherhood, love the church. So we're not gathering corporately. Everybody just needs to love the church, love the people around them, love your family. I mean, there's never been a time in history where we can be more connected when we can't gather.
Yep.
Like it's never existed. So love people. This is one of those times, be on your phone as much as you can in a wise way. Text people, FaceTime people, call people, let them know they're loved. Think of people who are marginalized during this time that you could bless. Honor the emperor. I think that the church needs to follow the government guidelines. And if you don't, the article of the church that's going to meet anyway because we love Jesus and he's going to protect us, I struggle with that so desperately. We can honor the emperor. We can honor government guidelines. And yeah, we're not going to gather all together at Taylor's or Northwest. Shout out to my Northwest people.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're not gathering. Acts 2:42, the believers gathered in the temple and in homes, breaking bread, devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to prayer, to fellowship, and breaking of the bread, and day by day attending the temple, breaking bread in their homes. The Lord added to their number those who are being saved. Man, at the end of this COVID, there should be more people who know Jesus.
Man, come on.
That should be our response. So, but again, 1 Peter 2:17. What do? We honor everyone. We love the brotherhood. We fear God. And that doesn't mean, oh man, what's he doing to us? It's actually, fearing God is this existence of unbelievable respect and unbelievable love smashed together.
Yes.
Like he is so amazing and he loves me. Therefore, that is fear. Like he's got this. Honor everyone. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the emperor. That's how we should respond.
So good. And with that, I say mic drop. So good, my man.
Yep.
Ryan, I love you. At some point, it was never really acceptable, but I can't wait until I can just hug you and squeeze you again in the awkward, lovingly way that I so love doing with you.
You do love to do that.
I do. Yeah. Hey, thanks for giving us over an hour of your time.
Yeah, man. I love it live.
Yes. And reciprocated to you as our pastor and our elder. We love you. Thank you. Thanks for everyone who tuned in.
Let's do one live. Let's do one live in the summer or fall, up in Alive. Another Q&A live with everybody.
Bro, that'll get spicy. I will love that.
Yeah. All right, man.
Okay. Hey, love you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for hopping on here with us. We can't wait to see you, be back with you again. Until then, everything Brian said, honor people, love the brotherhood, fear the Lord, all those things. You're the man, Fergie. Love you.
Bye.